Okay, little simple instructions on the different stripping knives and stripping blades that you can use and how you want to do it. First, I like to just use a metal comb just to comb them out, get the tangles out. It's going to pull off some of the hair that is going to be removed anyway. Make sure you get on the inside. Okay. So you can see that removed some hair. And we'll do the head afterwards. The first and probably the easiest blade to use is one like this. This is a Christensen. I prefer the Mars, but it's just a stripping blade or knife. And on the neck, you just, I think I've demonstrated this before, pinch the hair between your thumb and the blade and just pull straight back. And with this, you're not removing too much. You've got a little bit more control, although you're really not going to be able to take out more than you need because it's just pulling out the dead coat. So that's one tool. Good tool to use. You don't have to have any more. The longer coated, fuller coated, you're probably not going to want to use this for the entire body. This, once your puppies are older and full adult will be better. This is a 12 blade, so there are 12 blades, and it will remove quite a bit more hair. You just go in the direction that the hair grows, back, through here you can go down. And that's what gets pulled out. So you can see it's not making him look choppy, it's not creating any holes. It's just kind of like a rake that's going in and pulling out the dead coat. You can use it on the neck. You could pull out a lot of bulk on the neck if they're pretty bulky through there with this, and then you can use this to just make it look a little bit neater. Go ahead, shake it out, bud. Come on. He doesn't have a lot of hair on his legs, so I would not use the 12 blade. I would probably just use this. And again, it's just a matter of pinching your thumb against the blade and pulling just straight down. It's comfortable for me. It's not hurting my finger. It's not hurting him. That's it. So body, legs, pretty easy. Chest, good boy. Chest again, same thing. I would probably use one of these if you've got a lot of coat, the 12 blade. You don't want to take off too much in the chest. That's Bandit's still a little narrow through the chest, and having the hair there just makes him physically look a little bit nicer, a little more manly. Huh. Yeah. But, stand up. So there's the single blade, 12 blade, and then this is just a different style. It's a little like switchblade, not switchblade, but pocket knife. Does the same thing. So that can be what's more comfortable in your hand. Do you like a smaller handle opposed to a wider handle? And like I said, you could do his entire coat with one of the single blades. It's just a little bit more time consuming. But really, until your puppies are an adult, I would probably just stick with the single blade. And then when they get older and have more surface area, then you might want to go ahead and get a 12 blade. This is a stripping stone. This would typically just be used for smaller areas His ears are sensitive. Around the face, and it's just another tool to use to pinch and pull the hair out. Good boy. Good boy, good boy. So, let's see, let's look at feet. You're going to want to always make sure their pads are cleaned out, and then you just trim the hair. This is a little tricky because they're ticklish. Trim the hair between the pads. And you want to do this because it's better for their feet. It's better for their pads so that they don't spread out too much. It actually can affect their endurance. And then around the top, you just want to trim it just to make it, the standard says cat-like, so all that really means is you just clean it up and make it neat. I know, it's ticklish, buddy. I won't subject you all to, I get kind of OCD about this, and you don't have to. Okay, so you can see the difference. It's just a little bit neater and cleaner here versus that one. He needs his toes trimmed, but we won't demonstrate that today. For the tail, there's not a lot to do here. You'll just, this little curly cue here at the end, you want to kind of turn it or twist it and then just cut it off. And if you have some stragglers, you can just kind of trim it to your liking, but it's not necessary. The biggest thing is if they've got a lot of growth back here, you just twist it and clip off the end. Went ahead and brushed out Bandit's head, and he doesn't have as much facial furnishings as like Coco and some other Griffs, partly because he has allergies and he has scratched some of his beard off, but he doesn't have a lot around his eyes, so I don't usually have to do any maintenance around his eyes, except for maybe get some eye boogers out. Sorry, buddy. And ears, I personally, this is going to be up to you guys, but I personally do not like to pluck the ear hair out. You'll get different opinions from different people, but what I have found, my experience with Coco and Bandit, is whenever they've had that hair plucked out, they end up with ear infections. So my personal opinion is it's there for a reason. It protects them. But if you notice that your dog is shaking his ears or her ears a whole lot and your vet recommends plucking them, it's not going to necessarily hurt them to try it once. But again, it's just not something that I do or think is necessary. Okay. So for the ears, for trimming, this is probably my least favorite thing to do, not because it's hard, well, not because it's hard on the dog or hard on me. It's just, again, I get a little OCD and can get a little carried away. But you can trim, you can see the edge of the ear, and then you can trim this to have a nice even line. But it can be tricky because you want to trim up this way, and then when you get on top, you want to trim down. So it can be a little tricky when your dog's head is moving around a lot, or if they have a cowlick. Coco has a cowlick, and sometimes it's really hard to get a nice, neat edge on her. Just kind of round it a little bit there at the end. But again, I mean, it's your preference. It doesn't have to be done. It does, in the show ring, it's definitely a little bit nicer to do that, but it's not, it's just purely cosmetic. However, on the face, when you're stripping, You do want to get bulk out from here, from underneath the ear, kind of in the cheek, because that will help with the ear set. So when Coco, I'll put Coco on the table, because when she gets a lot of hair through here, it can actually change the set of her ears. And it's cosmetic, but it's also, I think, just more comfortable for her to not have as much hair on her cheeks. So I don't do anything to the eyebrows on Bandit. Again, he doesn't have a whole lot. If your dog does have a lot of hair though here in the eye, you can get some blunt nose scissors, the little short ones. Just protect the eye, pull the hair forward, and then just trim it out. And I can demonstrate that on Coco. I would use on the head either a stone. You're not going to pull out a lot. Either the stone or one of the single blades. You see, just takes out, not a lot, just what you need. Ideally, you would want to trim the neck down. And really, you would strip from the base of the head down. So you don't want a big woolly neck. You can have as much coat as you want, but you just kind of want to have it pretty even from the neck. The neck can be a little bit shorter than the rest of the body. Another area where they get some bulk is here by the elbows. Again, use the single blade. You just pull it